Hello and welcome back to episode 53. Thanks for joining us today, which marks the start of a new series of Game & Watches from Nintendo that we're going to review and examine. Called the Tabletop Series, these are without question the largest and least portable consoles of the entire Game & Watch range. However, they do have many gorgeous additional features and surprises in store. So without further ado, let's formally welcome today's focus and star of our show, Donkey Kong Jr. First offered for sale April 28 back in 1983, this game was reported to have sold 250,000 units worldwide. And as sales were disappointing for Nintendo with the super cute tabletop arcade-style units, there ended up only being 4 games made for the series, and these were initially Donkey Kong Jr., which was followed up by Mario Cement Factory. Slightly later we saw both Snoopy and finally Popeye appear to complete the 4-system range. Given the production code of CJ-71, Donkey Kong Jr. Tabletop was the first of this new series to make it to market. The larger-than-usual instructions booklet starts out with a small table of contents, before identifying and naming each part of the gameplay and their operation. The setting of both the clock and alarm function is nicely documented, before it is quickly followed by a detailed and descriptive, how-to-play section being presented over the next few pages, with Game Mode A being the easy option, and Game Mode B being for the gaming elite. And I have to admit, I'm impressed with the 9-step flow diagram instruction sheet that combines screenshots with various game playing tips. The Tabletop series of Game & Watches were a definite departure from the previous offerings of the series, as they were honestly a completely new format, neither handheld or genuine console. However, Nintendo, using a clever trick, made a color LCD, which required external light to shine through a window at the top of the rear of the games unit to illuminate the characters you saw on the screen. Nintendo hurriedly converted some of the previous games in the Game & Watch library to take advantage of this new, large and vibrant full-color format. As previously mentioned, these games were no longer truly portable, or even useful as a timepiece or watch, as they clearly needed to be sat on a desk or table, or at worst balanced on your lap. And the size meant that they could not be slipped easily into your pocket. The games used 2 large C-type batteries, which also hampered portability even further due to the additional weight. While they were not truly what we had come to expect from the traditional portable units in the range, they were clearly branded as Game & Watch games. And they were great games in their own right, with full-size joysticks, colorful animation and improved sound effects. However, due to their higher price tag, and smaller sales numbers, they are now highly sought after by collectors, and can fetch high prices at auction if found in working or good condition. As we can see here in Game Mode A, Donkey Kong Jr. has untied one of his father's 4 chains, but has sadly also lost a life. However, that joystick is super responsive, and ideally suited for this style of gameplay. The climbing, jumping and swinging nature of this game also offers up helpful yellow umbrellas which are used for slowing your descent, and also super bright red balloons for elevating and lifting you up. Oh, but unfortunately Donkey Kong Jr. has lost his 3rd and final life ending this game. So, we'll look next at Game Mode B. These consoles, at least to me, were clearly the most spectacular games in the entire Nintendo Game & Watch series, that is, if we also include the similarly functioning Panorama games. Nintendo really pushed the boat out on the innovation of combining the well-established LCD-based gameplay that was used to great effect throughout the entire Game & Watch range, with the use of a full color foil image, coupled to the ambient lighting function. It was just such a super fun system to play. The tabletop games were obviously shaped like a mini arcade cabinet, with the iconic joystick and all. So, in the 80s, owning one of these must have been a dream come true for a kid at Christmas of their birthday. Even though the Tabletop series had a super bright color screen, it actually consumed very little in the way of energy. It cleverly used a combination of regular black liquid crystals with natural sunlight which was projected through a mirror to create all the amazing images we see here. According to the instruction booklet, it was able to run for at least 3 years on just 2C batteries without ever being switched off. This, at least to me, is just crazy good. In fact, it did not even have an on or off switch. So, as we rejoin the gameplay here in Game Mode B, we see a score of 17 and unfortunately 2 lives have been lost. Junior scores a miss, or loses a life when a bird hits him, when he misses either an umbrella or balloon, or when he falls from an umbrella into the pond. He also needs to be aware that the balloons can also burst, resulting in him falling once more into the water. When you have 3 misses or lost lives, shown by Junior's head appearing in the upper right corner of the screen, then the game is over and the scoring ends. Well, that wraps up our quick look at the actual gameplay. What did you think? And here we see a unit and box that better reflects the original coloring. You likely notice the Donkey Kong Jr. version of the tabletop series is very prone to yellowing, or oxidation. Originally they were all near white when sold in 1983. Coleco, who were another well-established games maker, were already making miniature arcade-style games, so it was natural for Nintendo to offer out Donkey Kong Jr. to them so they could sell a licensed copy. And, if I'm being absolutely honest, it was visually much better than the Nintendo offering, being both brightly colored and having side stickers. The gameplay was identical to the Nintendo version. Confusingly, the new widescreen version of Donkey Kong Jr. was not exactly the same as today's more dynamic offering, but was quite similar overall. However, there was another Game & Watch which had the exact same gameplay as today's tabletop, and that was the Panorama series handheld with the identical name. This unit was really a rerun of today's game, but in a much more sleek and compact format. Well, I think we've packed a whole bunch of information about this Game & Watch. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did documenting the system. Please take a second to push that like button, it really helps. Also consider subscribing to our channel and activating the alarm. Finally, I'd like to thank everyone who joined us here today. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.